Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, I am Julia Simic. I'm from the University of Oregon Libraries, and this is,
Margaret Mellinger from Oregon State.
and we are part of Oregon Digital. What you're looking at here is an old hacked together homepage for our digital collections once they were on Content DM. Starting in 2009, our two institutions collaborated on providing access to all of our digital collections produced in the libraries by sharing an instance of Content DM. For various reasons, which I'm sure all of you have experienced, like crashing the entire system when you had too many controlled vocabularies, or, well, I personally crash the system at least once a month, and I had to call Karen Esla and say, Karen, I crashed it again. And she stopped asking me how or why. So we started looking for a replacement. And what we wanted to do was make our user interface a lot nicer, make our advanced searches a lot nicer, unsilo our data, because everything, of course, if you're a Content DM user, you know every collection is in its own little silo, and it's hard to get cross-collection searching done. And what we chose was Hydra, which is now Samvera, but technically we are still on Hydra because this is now, I think it went live 4 years ago, and we've been working on it for about 5.5. So what we wanted out of Hydra was more flexibility around metadata, which included RDF and using linked data. We wanted, again, a good experience, or a better experience at the very least, for our end users. And one of the big reasons that we chose Hydra is that it's open source. And that was valuable, at least in theory, to both of our institutions. What we ended up doing was building Oregon Digital kind of as a very highly customized Hydra instance. So while we were contributing code to the Hydra stack, what we actually put out for ourselves was not mainstream. And that has come back to bite us in the butt.
Right. So just speaking of usage stats, this is sort of a little segue, I guess. So this is usage stats that we've had prior to going into MWDL. So we're hoping that our exposure to DPLA through MWDL will magnify our usage, and that'll just keep growing. So that's one of the things we're happy about being here for. We also are using Oregon Digital in the classrooms. A lot of classes actually had gone to the special collections and university archives at University of Oregon and worked with people there to create content for particular classes. You can't read all these little things, but there are several different classes that are really important. There's one class that uses a video set called China Vine, and it's just very, very unique. So, well, that's a oxymoron, sorry. But anyway, that's been a very powerful impact for these collections to be online and to be able to use it in classes. We also have some of that happening at Oregon State, a little less than U of O has done. So we're hoping to work with our people in special collections at Oregon State to expand our classroom use. And that's why I'm pretty interested in what Kinza was talking about earlier about creating the education toolkit. I think that'll be fantastic for all of us. Our next slide. Let's see. Thanks. I think so. We want to talk about the future plans that we have. As Julia mentioned, we're sort of in a programming cul-de-sac. So the Hydra instance that we have is ancient at 4 years old. So we're hoping to jump over into the mainstream of the Samvera Hyrax stack that seems to be where everybody in Samvera is putting all of their efforts for collaborative programming. Oh, these are mine too. Okay, so to align with the new development plan, we are hoping to move over to Fedora 4. We'll be on the newest solar instance, and we'll do an update to Blacklight. Right now, we can't do any of that because we're on Fedora 3, and that is really causing us some heartache. We're going to use the Portland Common Data Model, and we'll have better RDF support because we do have, we are using linked data and active triples in our Oregon Digital. So hopefully this will be a better end user experience because that is what some of the problems that have been, people don't like that we have 40 facets alongside of our collections. So we're going to try to figure out how to streamline the facets and make that presentation look better, and also move over to some modern media viewers, IIIF, and looking at Avalon for that, things like that China Vine video collection. And we're very keen on looking at exhibits. We use Omeka now at Oregon State, but we would really like to be able to have a native exhibit functionality inside our digital repository or our digital asset management system. So Spotlight is something that could be used, but we can't run that on Fedora 3. So that's what we're hoping for there. And compound objects, we're hoping to make them look the way they're supposed to look.
Which is always pleasant. As far as the back end, we really need to streamline some things for the staff as well. One of the things we want to do is improve our analytics, and I'm looking forward to Liz's usage kind of things, because that's a big problem for us as we're trying to argue for the development time with our respective administrations is, okay, how do we prove that these are being used, and how do we know how our collections are being used? So we want to improve our analytics. Basically, we'd like just a better dashboard at this point, and just so that we can share it more easily with our administration. We need to improve our staff workflows. A lot of our stuff is done manually, even if it's just pressing a button to make something happen. So it would be great if we could automate more of that. Right now, we do not have a way of doing bulk editing. I don't have a way. I can ask a developer to do it on the back end, which is fine because the developer sits 2 desks away from me, but that's not always going to be the case. So we need to make that happen very, very soon. We'd also like to, move the mouse, improve our technical and preservation metadata logging. We need better, more detailed change tracking. We need to log more premise information than we are. We've just got the basics. And we'd like to have our technical metadata automatically entered rather than done by hand. So right now, what we're doing is we are in a holding pattern with Oregon Digital 1 is what we're calling it, as opposed to OD2. But things that we can finish out, like as OSU finishes its Scholars Archive, which is their institutional repository built on Hyrax, they're building all kinds of expertise in Hyrax that's going to benefit us when we start building OD2. So we need to get the Oregon people up to speed on Hyrax. So there's going to be a lot of teaching amongst our developers. We need to actually migrate and build the Hyrax instance. And inevitably, because we're using so much linked data and RDF, we are going to have to do some local modifications still. We need to have better workflows with our digital preservation. I'd like to build that into the entire workflow so that, at every step, digital preservation and stuff is happening. So it's not all at the end, as I'm moving files to the dark archive. We're also considering collaborating on additional projects. Specifically, Margaret and I have been talking about digital preservation, and maybe neither one of our institutions is particularly keen on paying for a system. So we are, doing our own homegrown systems. So maybe together we could get some interest in that. And of course, we need to continue our engagement with the Samvera community. about everybody is on some kind of working group or interest group, which is really important when you think about this. This is a community-built platform, so you need to be there, you need to show up.
So this is just, this is from a couple years ago, actually. This is the community as it stood when we were in Boston in 2017. I think I'm at 2016, actually, last year. We'll be in, yeah, wait, that might have been 2017. Sorry, I've lost track of all the years. So anyway, this is just a snapshot to show you that all the people that are behind Samvera, that are involved with Samvera, that are working on metadata or user experience or project management or leading the development, technical people. So there's a lot of people involved, and a lot of the institutions are some of our peers and aspirational peers. So that's a great group to belong to. This is our team, and we've had a lot of people leave, but so some of these people, Aviva Weinraub, some of you may know, and Karen Estlund were pretty much the people that started our collaboration in this area. And we've got a lot of people that we still have kind of a collection of people that we can have reunions with. But anyway, it's a good group. Questions? These are some of our...
Thank you, Julia and Margaret. And actually, I have one question, and it's probably because I don't know enough about Samvera. But I remember going to a HydroConnect conference a long time ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And at that time, the development was really far behind as far as building a UI for bulk edits. You know, I think you were talking about that, and also bulk ingests. Do you know where they are now with that, by any chance? The code that people are able to share, what that they've done?
Yeah, not very far.
Okay.
We built our own bulk ingest interface, it works pretty well, and that's something that other people have looked at, but it's not made it into the code yet. And bulk edits are high priority for high racks in the next development phase.
Thank you.